Well, welcome friends. Let's start the class today. So last week when we met, we have seen how to install the Jupyter Notebook. Some of you might be joining today who have not joined the last class. Okay, for them, probably tomorrow I will take you through the how to do the installation of Jupyter Notebook. If you are able to do the installation on your own, well and good. If not, you can actually uh, message me, or you can drop me. I will at the end of the class I will give you my email ID. You can drop a email ID so that we will connect together once again, and I will let you through. I will run through the complete installation process. Okay, but right now, for the sake of all other people's interest, let us start the first class of the actual Python. Once again, let me repeat. Python is an object-oriented programming language, and also you can use it as a structured programming language. It has many libraries, okay, and each library is designed for a certain purpose. We are not going to talk about the original or a traditional object-oriented programming language of Python, where how to build a user interface, those things. We are not going to talk about it. We are going to learn here the Python which is related to data science. Okay, so Python is very good at from exploratory data analysis standpoint. It will be very helpful for all of us. There are three libraries which we will be mainly focusing on. One is NumPy library, another one is Pandas, and then Matplotlib. This will be sufficient enough for you to get into the data science and build your own models. Okay, provided you have the knowledge of data science or statistics. We are not getting into the data science, how to do the modeling and things like that. Rather, I will be teaching you the fundamentals of Python, and then I will take you through the NumPy library and Pandas library and Matplotlib, and then we will do some small assignments that will cover the Python learning perspective from data science standpoint. After that, you can get into the GitHub. I will tell you where to get into and how to start your passion toward the data science. Is this expectation fair enough? Please respond in the chat. Okay. And any questions you want to ask, please type the question in chat so that as I will be explaining through, I'll be also looking at the group chat so that I can answer. The moment I see the question, I will answer you. Now, my sincere question to all of you, not question, let me take my statement back. My sincere request to all of you is, I hope you have connected using the laptop or a desktop, whichever it is, not from mobile. Even if you are connected through mobile, well and good. But what I want you guys have to do is, I'll be running through the commands, okay? And parallelly, you have to execute these commands. And I am not going to teach you like a presentations where slide through, okay, what is my arithmetic operations, what are my data types. Rather, I will be teaching you with the examples, and wherever in the example, wherever we are finding the different terminologies of the language, we'll be talking about it. That is, I felt this is very more effective. I tested this with many other batches also. It really worked very well. Okay. So now, everybody please get into the Jupyter Notebook. How do you get there? You go to Windows, you get into your Anaconda, right? In Anaconda, you have Jupyter Notebook. Before getting into this Jupyter Notebook, you right click here. Then it will be asking you something more. Okay. Then you say open file location or run as an administrator. So if you click this run as an administrator, Hello, guys. 1 minute. Everyone, go there. Go to start your Anaconda. You can get into Anaconda. Sorry, you get there. Anaconda, and then move on to Jupyter Notebook. If you right click, tell me what it is showing to you guys. Is this the only three options or is different option you are able to see here? Please respond. Okay, hold on guys. There are two questions. One is issue with respect to the laptop or a desktop not available. That's fine. If you don't have anything, probably you just look into this. You can listen to the video audio recording once again, and then probably once you go back home, maybe you can install the software and do it. Okay, that's fine, Sanatana. And Prasad, you're not able to see anything because, okay, I have not shared the screen right now. I'm going to share the screen. Just give me a minute. Are you able to see my screen right now, Prasad? Okay. So now you can see right now, click here, start, go to your Anaconda, wherever you are. Okay. And Anaconda, you just click here, it will show you Jupyter Notebook. Okay. Right click here, and can you, any one of you, specify what are the various options you are able to see under more, or anything here you are able to see here? Please try parallelly, guys. What I did, start, when I have gone to the programs, Anaconda, under the Jupyter Notebook, right click, open the file location. It is opening, it opens the information in Windows Explorer. Okay. Right click here, go to properties. You see, when you go into the properties, by default, it will show you a dialog box here where you have something called shortcut tab is right now. First, it will be visible to you. Guys, you have to do parallelly, okay? Otherwise, you will not learn the subject. I'm telling you. I will give you enough time. We will not be in hurry, okay? But let us go slowly, no problem. But you need to do what I say. Okay? Did everybody get into this step? Tell me anyone who is not done, who have not done this step right now. Suhaib, you need not to install anything right now. We will, I will guide you tomorrow morning. Okay, tomorrow morning you just call me. You just listen to the audio right now and just see my screen right now. Others, anyone who is not reached this to this point, till this point? Great. That means I assume everyone has, are up to this point. So now what you do, there is something called target and something called starting. So in the target, after this, you have to, there will be percentage user profile, something will be written in your machine. There, you specify a path where your all Python files by default will be stored. You specify the complete path within the quotes. You see here I specified double quotes C colon Hari PC Winjay others all Python. And the same folder I'm specifying your start in also. That means whenever I open up my Python program, by default, it will be coming to this particular folder and it will show you, it will display you all the files available within this particular folder. I'll pause for a minute so that you can all have the configuration file setting done. You can also do the same thing by using the Anaconda prompt, okay? But I don't want to get there because some of you might not be that comfortable. At least this GUI is more comfortable because we are all used to GUI nowadays. Probably probably if we would have been in 1996 or 97 time frame, CM command prompt will be the most lovable screen that time. Now we're all masters of GUIs and we love to work in GUI. Guys, quickly respond. Everybody, are you done? Or rather, I should say, who is not done? After selecting these two, what do you call, paths, simply say apply. Anybody who have not done this, please say yes, you done. No, please respond who has not done that. Okay, let's move on to Jupyter Notebook. Now you double click, Jupyter Notebook will open up, or you can go through the route of Anaconda Navigator. From there also you can open. How? Go here, get into your Anaconda. Go into the Anaconda Navigator. Is one way. This is another way of doing it. Okay. It will take some time. It will open up another GUI where from there you can actually enter into Jupyter Notebook, or you can come here, go into your Anaconda, click this Jupyter Notebook. Either way it is fine. Fair enough. And once you go there, come here, click the new button, say Python 3. Here, click Python 3. It will take you to a place where you don't have any files right now. Any difficulty, guys? Now I already wrote the code here, so I'm opening a file called introduction. You can also open the file. How do you open the file? Okay, so this is the file which I opened. If you don't, once you come over here, you can say file, create a new notebook, Python 3. It will open up a new notebook, and you name whatever the name that you would like to do. I named it as an introduction right now. Up to this point, everybody, please respond. Are you clear? And at the same time, have you done this? Friends, please respond. Great. Who all? Okay. Don't execute the command right now. Hold on. I will give you sufficient time so that you will go. We all go step by step so that everybody will be in the same page. Who else? Others? What about others? After Valika, anybody else? I've reached to this point. Be interactive, guys. Don't be silent. See, I'm not going to ask you guys to code. I'm intern, rather I'm trying. I already coded for you for all the logic that I'm going to explain. I will ask you to execute in front of me. That's all. So you need not to feel shy, or you need not to feel that okay, you are not able to code it. Okay. Moving on. Shall I? Okay. So now you have opened a new file. Okay, and you will have a empty file, right? A simple empty file you will have. I'm also creating new Python book. If I say this, see here, it is, yes, this is what you see right now. Now let us discuss about the cells. We last class we talked about it, but still again I will be talking about this. If you see the color of this is in green. The cell is having green color, right? This is how it is, the whole. Here you can actually type this is called command mode. Command mode means you can type something. You can enter any command or any information into this cell. This is called command mode. And remember, during the command mode, the cell color will be always green. If you press escape, the color becomes blue. Okay. Now this is not in a edit mode. Now if I try to something, it will try to script something about it. Okay. Now it automatically tries to do something. Okay, in a different way I press something else, which it has done something. Don't worry about this. If I click this in, automatically color changed. Did you see this? If I click this, I'm going to enter here something. I got into this command mode in the cell. If I try to click in, automatically the color has changed to blue. Now let us look at this, what it is. I told you hash will allow you to enter a comment in your code. More importantly, here in this Jupyter, you are executing each and every cell step by step. So what it is an interpreter. It doesn't need a compiler. It will compile then and there itself and show you the result. Then and there it will show you the error. Compiler will run and all the code that you have written in one shot, whereas interpreter will not run one shot. It will go step by step, statement by statement. Okay, that is the beauty of Python and R. You can go. I mean, you can also execute like a compiler in one shot. You can run all these cells in one shot. Okay, how do I do that? You go to the cell. You say run cells and select below. There are various options. Run all above. So using these options, you can actually run all the code that you have written in one shot. But by default, system allows you to run each cell at a time. N number of commands you can write it in the cell, but that's not a good practice. It is better define your commands in a small chunks in a logical grouping way, and use for each logical way, for logical unit, you can use one cell. That is the wonderful way of writing the code in Python. Okay. Fair enough. Now I'm using the hash command. Okay, the moment I press enter, it allows me to type some text. Okay, how to run a cell? If I want to run a cell, I have to press shift and enter. See, now I just entered shift plus enter. Sorry, not shift. There is no plus. Shift and enter you have to simultaneously. Shift enter, if you press, it will run the command. It will run the cell. Since I entered some unknown text or something, it is cribbing me. It is immediately compiled and told me that this is not defined. Okay, then you just double click or just click at this place. Automatically, cell will be activated and it moves on to your command mode, your edit mode. Okay, sorry, this green is basically the edit mode, blue is a command mode. Guys, I said something wrong, but I'll correct that. Green mode is a edit mode and blue color always represents your command mode. We will see what it is. Now I'm going to remove the text that I entered over here. I simply again run the same cell. How do I run it? Shift and enter. See, system did not crib anything. It actually it just create the another cell for you, another empty cell like this, another empty cell it will create for you. Okay, so here what is the text I have written? Welcome friends into the lovely world of Python. Python is an object-oriented programming as well as a structured programming language. Let us first learn about the cells. Blue cell. How many cells we have? Blue cells, green cells, and markdown cells. Now, say using the same hash, I have written another cell, another piece of information here. What is this? This is for you. Blue color always represents the command mode. Okay, and edit mode is always green color. If you press capital P, it will tell you what are all the various commands. Please try caps lock. I am pressing P. Do you remember? I caps lock. I just type capital P. Nothing happened because you are in the green color mode. That means you are in the edit mode. So system will think that you are still trying to type something. So how do I go into the edit command mode? Simply escape. If you escape, it gives you, it makes the cell as command mode. Now you can run it. Now what you can do, caps lock, I simply press capital P. I just entered P. See, it automatically opened the list for you. There's so many things you can see here. A lot of stuff here. Please practice, everyone. And escape, then it will take you back. Please make these two cells, type these two cells in your notebook. Everyone should try this. I'm giving 1 minute time. Please try. You may struggle a little bit. That's fine. But still you need to be comfortable with that. Command mode means blue. Green mode means edit. By default, when you open up a notebook, it will be in a edit mode. That is, green cell will be highlighted. Type something. Then escape. Automatically it gets into the command mode. Even if you enter also, it will enter another new line in the same cell. The another way to go to the next, create a next new cell is, there are few other ways, but otherwise you simply execute the program by using shift and enter. Clear, guys? Are you with me, my dear friends? Anyone who is not able to understand, or any question here? Yeah, today little slow will go, but tomorrow again it will be much faster. By then you know how to get into this Python notebook, Jupyter notebook, and execute the Python code. Anyone who has not done this up to this point, please respond in the chat. or any question or any doubt or any difficulty that you are facing right now in executing these two cells in your notebook? Okay, no response. That means everybody are through. Now, type these two lines. Type these two lines in your notebook. Shift enter and run it and see what it is showing. Done? Are you done, guys? Did you execute this? Did you execute this cell? Tarun said yes. What about others? Arvind done. Good. About others? Perfect. Prasad done. Good. Okay. Let's look at this. Now, let me explain what this code is doing. Now, I defined a variable called my message. I can start the defining the variable with a capital letter, and at the same time you can try this with a small letter also. It allows you to do that. However, in Python, it is always good practice to start the to start with a lower case when you are defining a variable. Okay, but I wanted to tell you, that is why I highlighted with this capital M. This is the, in general, you do such thing in C or Java or something like that, but here it is always small letter, small lower case. That will be, that looks clean and neat in Python. So I'm defining a variable, and there is a command called input parenthesis. Within the parenthesis, within the quotes, you can, I just entered a text here, enter text here. You can write anything here. The moment you do, if I execute this, automatically what it does is it will throw you immediately a dialog box here. See here, enter the text, whatever I have entered here, it actually opened up a cell over here for you to enter. So input is basically is a function which is trying to capture this for you. This is a built-in function. Okay, and print Hari entered my message. Whatever the message that I am entering over here will be assigned to this my message variable, and that message will be passed it on to this print command, and that is what it is going to display. Now I will enter here, hello friends. Okay, see here, this is what I entered, and this, it actually executed the second statement, print Hari entered. Whatever I entered as part of this my message value, it printed the same. Clear? So what is the learning here? Learning here is we learned three things. One is how to define a variable. Second, how to capture the input from the screen. How to print information to the screen. These are three dimensions we learned. Okay. Moving on. Guys, note down these things. Even if you don't note down also, not a problem. But these are all very useful commands. There are certain commands which you will be daily required whenever you try to work with Jupyter Notebook. These are all the commands. If you remember these commands, that is good enough. You don't need to, that's all. These are all the things that you have to remember. More or less, you will be pretty much covered everything. There are so many hundreds of commands, but these are all very important and useful, which makes you very comfortable with the notebook for at least 90 to 95%. Escape is always takes you into the command mode. In the command mode, you cannot edit, but if you either click the cell or double click the cell, it will convert that into from command mode to edit mode, which is the green mode. Enter will take you back to the edit mode. Capital M. See, all these commands, if you want to execute it, remember the cell has to be in blue color. That means cell has to be in the command mode. Then pressing these values will give you that particular action. To convert a cell to a markdown cell, let us look at this. I'm going here. I am running this text. Okay. Now I want, this is right now in the edit mode. Now I want to convert this into markdown cell. What is the markdown cell? We will see. Now what I do, I'll press escape, which will make this cell as a command into command mode. Now all I have to do is my caps lock on. I press M, capital M. The moment I press M, you see this in square bracket, this something is completely disappeared. When this is disappeared, I click my cursor over here. Then automatically the cell color is changed to green, and now this has become editable. This field has become editable, or this cell become editable. Now I can type anything. What I can type? Hello world. I simply type hello world, and now what I simply do is shift enter. I'm running this cell. The moment I run the cell, see here, hello world is displayed. It did not crib like this earlier. Earlier when I entered some A, B, C, D, some X, Y, Z something, my interpreter gave an error. But here it is not giving me an error. But if I want to go back into this cell, all I have to do is either click this. If you single click over the text, it automatically takes you into this particular cell. By default, it shows you in the command mode that this is a markdown cell. If you want to modify this, all you have to do is double click. The moment you double click, now this will be double click. Hello, my dear friends. Again, I can say shift enter. Yes, see, hello, my dear friend. Please try this. Create a markdown cell. Okay, what is the use of this cell? Now, the beauty of Python, beauty of this Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Notebook is especially having a command cell as well as a markdown cell is, if you look into this code, if I want to write so many hash lines, there will be so many comments that will be continuously given, and it is somewhat like you have a feeling they're saying that, okay, I'm still looking into my code. That is one part. Second, it doesn't look good because it looks still in this particular cell. Okay, but it looks good, it looks very neat if I have some information like this. That means I can write the code and at the same time I can do a presentation over here. I can insert, I can make a presentation, I can create a presentations here. I can insert the what do you call image file, JPG file. All those things can be very easily inserted into your programming file, into the code. That means the readability of your code is greatly enhanced, and you are not only explaining the program, you're also giving some kind of explanation to each and every step what you have done. You can also make a presentation about how this is going to work. These are all the benefits of markdown cells, which is very unique, and this is wonderful. We will see in detail what it is. Useful comments are not showed up. We will see that. Don't worry. Right now, you look at this. Now come down. These are all like we gathered based on our experience. What are the most useful commands? You can note down these things. Okay. Or if you're you just spend some time and note it down, guys. Even if you don't note down also fine, because every time I keep doing those operations very frequently. Whenever I do that operation, I will tell you guys that this is the operation which I'm doing it. Okay. Now, if I want to convert my this cell from a, what do you call, come over here. This is the cell which is just markdown cell. Now I want to convert back into my command mode. So what I do, press capital Y. See, automatically this has become, you see, in has come. Now the markdown cell got cancelled. Now this is in the command mode. Now if I run this, it will give me an error. Shift enter, it is giving me an error. Are you? Can we take a screenshot? Why not? Take it. You take the screen snapshot from my side. Store it somewhere. It will be helpful to you. Okay. Now, I want to insert another cell on top of this. Another cell on top of this. All I have to do is capital A. If I press capital A, it will not do anything here, because right now the cell is in green color. That means it is in edit mode. When the cell is in edit mode, it will not run. It is still the interpreter still is expecting that you are trying to enter something. So how I will make it as a command mode? Simply press escape. It becomes blue colored cell. Now I will press capital A, which will insert a cell above this particular cell, capital A. Sorry, capital A means basically after, below this particular cell. If I insert capital B, it will be below. Are you clear? Let me go back to this one. You can see through. To insert a new cell above, to insert a new cell below. A and B are used. If I want to delete, any cell, okay, again I have to go into the blue mode, press capital D 2 times. I press capital D 2 times, it got deleted. Another time I'm pressing, it got deleted. Another one I am delete. Clear? Is that fair, guys? Are you with me? Okay. If you want to do undo the last operation, you have to press the Z. Simple. Command escape. I am pressing Z. So it automatically, in last command was I deleted the first cell, so it actually did the undo of my deletion of the first cell. Did you try these things? Please try capital A, capital B, and Z. I'll pause for a minute. Others? Harshit has done it. See, try it out. I know once you get out of this class, I am 300% sure you are not going to practice. That is why I have chosen to teach you guys like this. Okay, moving on. F, capital F, to find and replace on your code. If I want to replace certain thing, okay, I have typed over here. Now I'm in the command mode. I'm pressing capital F. So it is asking me what to find, what to replace. So if you have already entered a text here, for example, let's say I'm saying hash my today is my first class. Today is my first class, something like this. Okay. Now escape, and I want to find and replace. Now I want to find out is, okay, it is automatically, the moment I type is, it actually identified where the is existing in this your command in this cell. Now I wanted to say today, I simply wanted to put a hyphen, replace all. See, automatically it replaced here is. Is that clear? Please try this. Guys, try this. Find and replace. Type something and then find and replace. Very useful command, guys. You may think, oh, what is this all? When you start working on the data science modeling, right, that is when you realize how useful these commands are going to be. It will save a lot of your time. Are we done? Correct. It will be searching only in the current block. You don't need to search in all blocks because this is the interpreter, right? You always go by cell by cell. So if you want to do that, okay, if you come to the edit mode, here also you see find and replace options. This way also you can do it. And another important information, guys, you see something here, auto saved is something it is showing it up here. Okay. If it is not saved, you have to first press this save button. So whenever you do the save, it automatically does the checkpoint, check in and check out. It does to the folder which you have specified as part of your path. That is what we tested. I mean, we set the path in the beginning of the class today, right? You remember? I've taken you to this start, go to the Jupyter notebook, right click, and then there is another dialog box where you have specified where is the target directory and where what is the starting. So to that folder, whenever you try to first you save it, it automatically this particular file will be saved to that directory, and at a very frequent intervals, it automatically starts saving the your code. You don't need to explicitly save. However, sometime you do not know. So when you go into the home, see here right now, something called running. If you go into this tab, you see so many threads are running. Okay, sometimes without your awareness, or maybe 2-3 days you did not shut down the system and all that stuff, by the system might have shut down on its own. In such a situation, it will not save automatically. Is that fair enough, friend? Okay, similarly, shift up and down to basically select your multiple cells. Try this thing. I came here, shift arrow up. You have to be in the command mode. When you are in the command mode, then only it does that. Okay, and at the same time, shift downward, down arrow. This is how you select. And all those control C, control V, all those things works. You can try it out, not a problem. Now, space, scroll the notebook down. If you want to simply enter, just press the space, it will take you to the next level if you have multiple cells over here. Right now, I don't have multiple cells over here, so it is not thing. So if shift plus space, it will scroll you up. That is the difference. Okay. And this is another important thing. In the H is one, capital H is very useful. Okay. So now I'm pressing capital H. See, it will tell you all useful commands, most of the useful commands. You don't need to remember anything. Only one thing you have to remember is capital H. That's all. You should remember my first letter of my name, Hari. If capital H, if you press, it will tell you these are all useful short commands. So there is a question about which one is better, shortcut or edit. So it's up to you how you want to, which one you want. I mean, based upon your comfort factor, you have to go. That's how it is, Harshit. Regular intervals in the sense, whenever you simply come out of the cell, after you run the execute a cell, automatically it will get into the auto save. Okay, so if you type the commands in one cell with, let's say, one single line in 1 minute, it will check in check out for 1 minute. But if you waited there for so much of time because you are in between, you're discussing with someone else, in between someone else, other people, this to do that, all the stuff, accordingly it will behave. So basically, after you run the cell, system will get into auto save. Is that clear, Harshit? Harshit, please respond. Did I make sense? Okay. Shift plus enter basically to run the cell. Alt plus enter to execute the code in the current cell and insert a new cell below. Try this. Try on your end. I don't want to try it here. I'm giving you a time. Alt enter. It should run the existing cell, and then immediately it will generate the next cell for you to code further. Fair enough? Then shift tab, very important, guys. To get a brief documentation about the object that you have just inputted in the coding cell. So here, let's say I am typing input. Sorry. I am now typing input. Now what I do? Shift tab. See here, the moment I press shift tab, it will be telling you, it will give you a help file basically, what this command is all about. This is very, very useful, and no matter how great programmer you are in Python, you end up using this eventually a lot, because for every inbuilt function, there are so many parameters, optional parameters, mandate parameters are available. That is how the code has become so elaborative. You may not remember everything, but at the beauty over here is, if I press this, it will tell you some examples also. See here, it opened up a dialog box below. Okay, it is telling me a lot of information about what this is. Okay, you can browse through this. That is the advantage of these help files. You can, if you click here, it will automatically close that. So shift tab is always very, very, very useful. If you want to know more information, you can click here, go. So it will be like, it will tell you like this, what it is. It is giving you some information about how this input function is going to be used, things like this. Press escape also, it will go off. So not escape, this, close this one. Yeah. Is that fair enough? Okay, guys, I keep telling in between certain things wrong. I do this intentionally. Okay, because this is the way I check whether you are actually following me or not. If nobody is actually pointing it out, then I will be alerting you guys. Fair enough? Okay. Control Shift and hyphen to split the cell at the cursor. Shift M to merge the selected cells. So you can try all these things. Okay, let's not spend too much time on this, because too many things we have to go. We can do down. We have to go right now. So I'm moving on. I'm assuming that this we will be using as and when we move along, because we have so many other what do you call programs that will be coding down the line. Okay. So we talked about the cell. So the important aspect of the markdown cell is this. I want to define some kind of a text here, which where I will be something like, I wanted to give a title, then I wanted to have headings and subheading, things like that. So if this is a markdown cell, so create a markdown cell. Please everyone create a markdown cell in your notebook right now. After creating, now I am double clicking this place. Okay, see how it looks like. Single hash will actually create a title with a bigger text. Double hash will tell you the little smaller size text. Triple hash will tell you little further smaller text. 4 hashes, it will tell you further small step. 5 hashes will make the text as italic. Now I'm entering this. Please execute this. Please execute this from your side and see how this works. Are you done, guys? Shift enter. See here, title looks like this, heading is like this, subheading is further smaller text than heading. This is further smaller text, and this is italic. 5 hashes makes it italic. There are so much to these things. You can try the multiple hashes, you can give all and try. Similarly, create another markup cell, markdown cell. See here, sometimes you have to highlight the text. How do I do that? You will be using this symbol. Where is this symbol in your laptop? Wherever the tilde symbol is there, that is on to the left. You search in your laptop. There is a symbol something like this, right? So in the same key, we also have this code. Use this. When you use this, you see here, highlighted text. Hello dear. If I run this, you see the text got highlighted. See highlighted text, hello dear. Now it looks neat. In the programming, when I'm coding the code, okay, in the command mode, I'm writing the code, and I created a markdown cell below. I can highlight some of the informations over there. So the code looks pretty neat and very easily maintainable. That is the beauty of markdown cell. Once again, this symbol makes you see here, this and this. You have this is what you have to define. You need to define these. You need to place the text between these two symbols. Hope this is clear. By the way, are you able to locate where this particular quotes are available on your laptop or a desktop? Please respond. Anyone who is not able to find this? Any struggle? This is not a regular code. Yes or no? Please respond. See, guys, this is more interactive session. What happened, Prasad? Why triple hash are not working? Just check whether you are entering the text in the edit mode and then run shift enter. Okay. Few more formatting styles in your markdown cell. First, create a markdown cell. How do you create a markdown cell? You simply escape, then the cell becomes blue, caps lock on, just simply press M. Perfect. Yes, there is another important point. What Prasad brought it up here. If I double click this, you see here, after the hash, you have to specify space. If you try to try to type this with this, then it becomes the comment. Guys, please understand this. Thank you, Prasad. Okay, now few more formatting style. How to create a bold text, how to create a italic text, how to create what do you call yeah, this is generally how to create a color. All these things are formatting styles, right? So now we will see this. See here, if you want to create a bold text, you have to use this symbol. You see where your hyphen is symbol is there, same key you will use it. You have to shift, find the key which is relevant. This is a bigger line. Okay, if you type this and anything that you place in between, that becomes a bold. Same bold action is achieved by using the two stars, star at the beginning of the text and star at the end of the step. And between these two, between the star, within the quote, if you write the sentence, that will become the sentence becomes the bold. Let me run this. See here, bold text, same as bold. You don't need to use the quotes also. You can remove the quotes also, that is fine. You can try all these things. If I want to do the italic, all I have to do is normal hyphen. That means same button you have to press. Normal hyphen in the beginning of the text and at the end of the text will make the text as a italic. Same operation you will be achieving by placing single star here from the beginning of the text and at the end of the text. If you want to use both italic and bold, you have to use three stars and then the text followed by three stars. Please try it on your side. Fair enough. Everyone able to try it? See, these are all the actions that we will be doing in your markdown cells. Hence, markdown cells are very important in Jupyter Notebook. See, without making any presentation, I'm able to take you through the whole class, right? Because of markdown cells. I'll be using the markdown cells left and right and center. That will help you a lot. Yes. There are certain default colors that are there. So we'll get into all those things down the line. Don't worry. Okay. Now, indentation. When I'm trying to explain something, suppose I have written a code here I created a command cell and I wrote the code here. And in this code, there is some logic going on and something is happening here in step-by-step process. That process I can explain here like this by creating an indentation. How nice it is, right? In the program, in the code itself, I'm able to create this kind of a indentation, not by simply pressing the tab. This looks more elegant, right? It looks like very much readable. How do I do that indentation? See here, indentation you have to use greater than symbol. If you use one greater than space and then text, then this will be a one level. If you use two greater than symbols, two levels. Three greater than symbol, three level. Four greater than symbol, four level, like this. Please try this. Is that okay? Everyone. Level in the sense, basically it is the indentation. If I run this, say I can say this is one this is like a heading, subheading, further subheading. Like that, you can structure it, right? I simply wrote it as a text as a level. There is no meaning to level here. It is basically the indentation. This is the first level of indentation. This is second level of, second indentation, third indentation. It is something like pressing tab one here, once here, something like pressing tab two times here. From here, it is two tabs, right? From here, this is three tabs, something like that. It's like nexted, perfectly right. Is that enough? Shall we move on? Wonderful, guys. Happy you are following. Now, again, to improve the readability perspective, sometimes you have to introduce line breaks. How do I introduce that? You have to use this less than, within the less than and greater than symbol, just to type BR, which is break. BR stands for break. So in this Townsell, if I double click this, you see here, this is create less than greater than between these two symbols BR to get a line break. Hello, without line break 1, without line break 2. Though I entered here, when you are seeing with your naked eye right now, these two lines are visible in two different lines. But when if I, for the same between these two lines, I introduced this command less than, greater than, between that BR, and let me run this, how it looks like. See, first one, see line break 1, line without line break 2. There is no actual break is visible. But when you get into the command mode, edit mode, you see the line, these two statements are in two different lines. But actually when you executed this cell, but they are not in the same line. But in the other in the other case, because of this BR command, it inserted a new line break here. Hope you got the difference. Clear? Because of this command, it is able to insert a line between these two, or between these two statements. Try from your side, guys. Try it out. Don't listen to me. First try. First try and then debate with me. This is how this class goes. Guys, you need to pick up the speed, okay? Because we have to cover a lot. I need to complete this in 16 hours, okay? Remember that. As we move along, I'll be increasing the speed. So you need to be good at typing. Okay? How to change the color of the text? Simple. There are some default colors, that is okay. But if you want to change that, this is something similar to your HTML page. In the HTML, you will have certain verbs, right? Same thing over here. That is the beauty of markdown cell. See here, within the less than, greater than symbols, if I write font color equals to green and then type the text whatever it is and then slash font. This is what you do in the HTML pages, right? Same thing you can use it. You can use it here. There are many those commands you will use it in the markdown cells. That is the beauty. So since I used it as a green, the first line has been changed as a first line will be visible in the green color. Second line will be visible in the blue color. So for the font is the verb, pre-verb, you will be closing with the slash font and color equals to green, which you have defined, and then followed by your text. Same markup language. Nothing new. This is green, this is blue. I am green friend. Sorry, I have green friend. I am a blue-eyed boy of my boss. Did everyone try this? Anyone who has not done this? Quick, guys, let's close this class today. Okay. Now, we can also insert bullets and numbering in your markdown cells. So many things in markdown cells. Rather, if you get into C, C++, Java, nobody talks about all these things, right? Everybody will directly jump into the code. How we will write the code. Here we are spending good amount of time on finding out how you actually write a wonderful Python program. Okay, let's look at this. Bullets and numbering. A dash followed by two spaces. Remember here, dash followed by two spaces will create a bullet. Please do this. Simple. I say here dash, sorry, I should not say dash. It is hyphen space space hyphen space space. I live in Nijampet. This is what the line that I'm entering. See here, it inserted the bullets. How to change the bullet? Similar to what you do in your markup language, you can do the same thing here, but let's not get there. There are so many things possible here. I'm trying to show you the flavors. How to insert a number? Very simple. Simply, how to insert a number? See here, one dot space. Automatically, it will insert the same. Numbering will be followed like this. If I want to enter the 21 space, 2 dot space, second line. Shift enter. See here, this is how the indentation happens. Here, this is a square symbol. Here it is 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. It is like number followed by a dot and space. Goes to up to infinity. You can enter that. Clear, my dear friend? Any doubt? Great, guys. Now, I want to insert an image here from a URL, from a web page, or from your C drive. How do I do that? Same thing. Within this less than or greater than symbol, use this built-in word img, that is for image, source src equals to, within the double quote, either you can specify your URL or you can specify your location. You are getting bullet for number. How come, Valika? Okay, we'll see that once again. Okay, just hold on. Let us complete this part. Try this image insertion and execute. The image will be displayed here in the code itself. What a beauty here. You can insert the images here. Find an image in a URL and try to execute. So Lakshmi Narayana, what you're saying? What will happen if I don't key in the dot after the number? Try it out, Lakshmi. Whatever the question you are asking, you try it and tell us what happened. If you don't key in the dot, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to the system. You just treat that as another text. That's all. Did you check it, Lakshmi Narayanan? Right now, you don't have the image to insert over here. Even I also have the no image, so it is simply showing me this. Okay. So it is like this image path. If you have the excuse me. Okay, that's fine, Lakshmi Narayana. You try this out. I told you it will. If you don't enter what do you call dot after the number, it just treat that as a simple text. Okay, and so latex equations. So sometimes what happens is you have to you will be trying to code a in the algorithm you are trying to code a logic. That logic is trying to explain about the mathematical equations. Suppose this here is the equation, mathematical equation. This is how I want to I'm trying to build a logic for this equation. So this using of this kind of equations is very difficult in any other programming languages. But in here, Jupyter Notebook, it allows you to do that. And being a data scientist, you will be dealing with the mathematical equations like anything. So many complex mathematical equations you will be using it. It is so wonderful to really put those equations over here in the code itself, so that tomorrow whoever looks into the code can easily understand what is the logic that you are trying to write. What a beautiful feature, right? What is this latex? So this is invented. Actually, it is called a text, TEX. Later on, they change it to latex equation. Basically, what it means is by the mathematical equation. There is one guy who actually invented all these things with respect. That's the reason it is called latex equation. Okay, there is history around that. If you want, you can go and check in the Google what do you call Google. It will tell you. But let me run this. See here. So this is the equation I'm trying to write. So whenever you try to write any mathematical expressions, right, you will be using the dollar symbol. The beginning and end you will be using the dollar symbol, and then you will be specifying certain things. Slash fraction A1 A2. That means once I run this, it will be telling me A1 by A2. Okay, that by is you are telling in the beginning from the beginning itself. So parenthesis by frac, that means fraction it is telling. So fraction for this A1 A2 fraction you are trying to calculate. Okay, so it shows you A1 by A2 plus A3 by A4. This cap symbol is basically represents their exponential. Okay, so if I run shift enter, see here, this is A1 plus A2 plus A1 by A3 by A4 whole square equal to A cube 5. This is how it is written. Please try this, my dear friends. If you want more information, I can tell you, you go and click here about this mathematics, this useful link. It will tell you what are all possible mathematical, how to type those mathematical equations in this markdown cells. Beautiful, wonderful facility. I love it. Okay, guys. So sorry, I consumed 5 more minutes extra because I just wanted to close this class, this introduction part today. Any questions or anything? Please. Help page like you got in the Python page. Where did this help?
I mean the help text, just like you're showing right under the cell.
This one?
Yeah, is it all written by you or something?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see. So this is a page that you have already written, or
the below link which you are talking about, this one?
Yeah, everything like you showed all the help, right? How to bold, indent,
Yeah,
all
this
that.
is something which I made it. I coded this.
I see, I see. Got it, got it. Mind sharing?
No, you will get all these things in any of the books and all those things. It's just that I logically structured in such a way that it is easy so that I can take you guys step by step.
Got it, got it.